Ready down there, Ray?
Take time. Who?
She says she's a ray of sunshine.
Oh, ray of sunshine. Well,
I
would
don't
agree
think
with
I'm
that.
too far off.
I would
on my-
absolutely agree with that. You should have seen her light up when I opened up that box of cookies in there.
Until Travis gave her those things this morning. I said, "Who are you supposed to do? Who wanted you that they would do?"
No, he gave me, you guys the cookies.
And fair warning, if you try one of them, they are addictive.
They are good. Okay, we're ready.
Okay, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Williamson County Board of Commissioners meeting. Roll call, please.
Tim Atkinson.
Here.
Jim Marlowe.
Present.
Jim Razor.
Here.
Oh, date and time?
Date and time, yeah.
Well, why not? Today's December 7th at 10:01 a.m. for the record. Okay, we're reconvening. From December 5th. This is an oddity. So, reconvening from December 5th. Today's December 7th. Once again, it's 10:01 a.m. We're here to have entities that have been awarded ARPA money from the board to come in and sign participation agreements. I think the first one is Coal Valley.
Yes, sir.
Morning,
Morning, gentlemen.
good morning. How are you today?
Good, how are you?
Real good. I think what we did, we just gave them these, didn't we?
Yeah, we make a copy.
So they sign how you're able to sign that for us? Okay.
You need a pen.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I got one step.
We got it, Steph.
All right.
I think it might have been on the back
It
page.
might be on the back page.
Did you have your attorney look at the contract?
No, I have not.
Okay, I didn't know if you wanted that option to have your attorney look at it before you sign it. To
This is-
understand some of the parameters, and if you had any questions concerning it. Normally, was that contract not given to them before?
It was sent to April.
Yeah,
Yeah, she's got it.
I don't know if she said it was red or not.
Okay,
Oh, is Red your attorney?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Well,
I would say pretty close,
Yeah.
being okay on that.
Red has been on this document.
Yeah, so it's the same document that we have everybody sign. But I just say, we say that just to make sure in case your attorney does have a question. The parameters being that, the project that you've got listed has to be completed by the end of 2026.
Okay.
Otherwise, money has to come back.
Come back.
Yeah. And basically what they do is if you're not aware, is they put the money into a fund. So you would submit to the treasurer invoices for, what was your project for?
Cellular read meters.
Yeah, we were gonna buy meters.
So whenever you get the invoices for the meters, you'd submit that and then they would issue a check.
Okay, I signed the what it's called is a Badger Beacon, where the reads off the cellular tower.
Yeah,
And I got with Chad last week and signed the thing again. Because they want 6 meters put out in the field, the furthest away, to make sure that they're gonna read at the office.
yeah, to the office, yeah. Do you remember how many meters the
310,
310 meters?
300, 3/4, and 10.
And so the way that would work is as you progress with the work, you have bills, you submit the bills, and then Ashley will issue a check.
If you have any other questions concerning that, talk to Ashley and
Right, the
he'll
treasurer.
answer. Our treasurer,
Yeah.
he'll answer the question.
Okay. Well, I'm pretty sure Red's put this over.
Yeah, she's had that for a while, so she may have, I'm sure she sent it over to him.
I know he's doing some other work for us,
Yeah.
right now.
It's just a question, we just want to make sure that your attorney.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
he's our attorney as well, so. He's already,
I think that had your name on it.
does it?
Because, well, I don't have your name on it,
Yeah, right here.
because I had made those.
Oh, they had him?
Yeah,
Okay,
they
yeah.
all have his name on there because it was done.
So it sounds like you're gonna start pretty quickly
Well,
on
I
this
could-
project.
Yes. You had what you want to do,
Print the last page and make a change,
signature.
Tim's name on it.
Signature.
Well, you guys
everything.
agreed.
Yeah.
To
You're
get six
trying to
million
look for
dollars.
some
That's
shares,
true.
so
Away from the district,
Yeah.
from the main office.
anything
It's gonna be
going
nice.
forward off of
It's gonna be
it.
nice.
Well,
It's gonna save
My
some
main
money.
concern is, well, the safety of the guys too. Because whenever you go on, people don't care.
Yeah.
They just fly.
They should fly down the road.
I almost got hit twice when I was working.
Yeah.
You know,
I can copy of this for you.
just lose it.
Yeah, have your name on it, Jim.
Yeah.
Yeah, anything going forward, I'll put your name on there.
We agreed to it whenever I was chairman.
That's right, that's right. Yeah, this is under your responsibility.
So you're the new chairman?
I am, as of Monday. As of Monday. Well, thank you. I'm not sure if I know what I got myself into, but nonetheless, we're here.
I didn't know what I was getting myself into, because that's a chairman position.
Yeah.
But
So are you guys gonna be able to build your building out there? Have you found money
we
out
are
there?
trying to get the OJ and no communication building.
Oh, I heard that. I heard
And
that.
We're trying to purchase it because, well, we can probably get the building for, they just want like 155,000 just for a shell, a 40 by 60 home. That's not including concrete, no electrical done,
Yeah.
anything. This is already set in stone. It's 2.5 acres.
Got you got a nice laydown yard?
Yes.
In addition,
There's plenty of space to put pipe. There's all kinds of room on the inside, put grass, copper and all that stuff. It's not gonna be told to the public. People can just walk in there and just.
So is Jeremy, you negotiated with Jeremy?
Yes.
Are you guys close? Are you close to another?
They're waiting on this outfit out of Cape Dorado to do it.
Oh, okay. Right, so it did have to be appraised, I know that. And to make sure that it's not being sold less than 80%, it's got to be right. And once that's done, good. Yeah, I think it'll be a good fit for you guys.
Well, you know, we have backhoe, we have the trencher, we have the tractor from. Like I said, you know, the infrastructure of our district is, this upgrade that we're getting put in right now is gonna be beneficial to the whole district. We've had to raise the water rates, you know, to
Yeah.
compensate for money going out. So we gotta have money coming in. And we had to raise the water rates twice in the last 2 years.
Yeah.
It is probably going to get raised again, you know. But,
Everything goes up.
Everything does.
you know, people don't understand that, you know.
You'd like to say no.
We just sell water. We have no sewer, no gas.
Yeah.
You know, we're strictly water.
Yeah.
You know, and there's, you just make ends meet, or less.
But you gotta figure the cost of materials, insurance, payroll, everything goes up.
Absolutely.
There he is, there's the man.
There's the man. Well, I think that's it. You got any other questions for us?
So, when we submit the funds to get this rolling, how does that work?
Ashley, you wanted to answer that question?
Right, the treasurer just walked in.
Okay.
okay, so what project?
This is Cold Valley,
Cold
the water
Valley.
meter project.
Okay, so are you working with an engineer,
No,
He's working with the supplier.
supplier on?
Midwest meter.
Okay, you do it one of two ways. I mean, I guess, do you have the money to pay them out of your funds?
I'd have to check with the rules of the office.
Okay. If you do, you can pay it and then we can reimburse you for the cost. I mean, and have the show the paid receipt and everything. If we need to pay them, I need the invoice, you know, from the supplier. so I know exactly the amount that has to be done. Usually what I do is I cut the check and I'll cut it directly to Coal Valley. And then you'll then pay the invoice.
Right.
So you'll deposit the money, but at least I've got the invoice showing what I'm giving the money for.
Is there any way that you can actually pay this payment and everything I need to?
Yeah, I mean, if you want to, each project is different. I mean, I've dealt with different, because I mean, most of these, like water projects, there's an engineer involved. So I mean, I check, the engineer gives me the information, what they're doing, what the progress is, and everything else. If you're just working directly with the supplier, then, I mean, really all I would need is just the invoice.
Just the invoice out.
Could he bring the supplier's invoice, send that to you, and
Yeah.
pay the supplier directly? Would that be possible?
I can, I mean, I don't like to, just because because technically this is a sub-award, so it's like we give it to you, and then it's your responsibility to pay, and then I need you to get like a lien waiver from the supplier, or whatever work's being done, that you've done all that, just so that we can, show that there's a paper trail, plus that you've done your due diligence in getting that done. I mean, that's how I've done most of them, because again, the only ones that I pay directly are ones that are actual Williamson County projects. I paid either the engineer or the suppliers or the contractors directly. Everything else has been given to the sub-award recipient, and then they in turn pay, just so we can show the paper trail.
Well, see, all this is just register the transponder that goes to the cell towers
Okay,
and stuff, and our guys are gonna put them in,
okay,
and it's retrofit.
okay.
So,
Yeah, so really for you, all I would just need is that invoice.
Just the
Yeah,
invoice.
but I would give the money to you, and then I would have you pay, that,
So when you do pay Midwest, you'll need to get a waiver and them.
Okay.
Pay.
all right.
Do you anticipate this being a one-time? You're gonna
Yes.
get all the meters at one time?
Well, they said there's backlog of 6 months.
Yeah.
Of getting the purchase.
Yeah.
Then our guys will start putting them in, as they go. I just want them in the high traffic area where the guys are
Right. Well, that makes
possibly
sense.
be hit,
Yeah,
and the lights working more than freaking meter,
sure is.
you know what I'm saying? And that's my biggest pet peeve is the safety of the workers.
Is the invoice, are you paying them just in one lump sum, or you have to pay, not paying any, like, upfront money, and then for them to,
No, we're just gonna pay it all one time, get it all,
okay,
so we can get all the stuff in.
Okay.
They can start putting.
that's fine. I mean, I've had ones where the manufacturers have requested like a third up front, so they can move you to the front of the line and get, the materials
When I
done.
signed that meter, application the other day, he went ahead and sent it in the badger
Okay,
to get 6 of them coming,
gotcha,
so we can put them out this year.
okay,
Furthest away from the office, to
Yeah.
make sure we can get the cell towers.
okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
so we have a plan, right? All right, thank you.
All right.
Thank you for your time.
Sure.
Thanks, Seth.
Mike Allen. How you doing today?
You guys did circle? Thanks, guy. We're just grateful to be here.
That's the participation agreement. Please, did you send him one of those too? Okay.
Yeah, we got ran.
You got read, so you guys know what's going on there.
As long as he leads us all right?
Yeah. What was this project gonna be for?
We got a few projects. It might be easier if we like to read on this, I guess.
I don't know if it's in that or not, just the
Is it
amount.
not in
I
on
mean,
this?
that's just the agreement. It's-
Okay. We've got the VoIP system, communication system, of our environmental health records, and the data system, and then the windows, water, and the essential workers. Is the projects.
Okay, and I think we said that whenever we applied for these funds, that the work has to be complete by 2026. you have to spend money on those projects,
Okay.
which I believe you will.
We will.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I look forward to you. You're gonna have a good project. It's gonna be good.
yeah, appreciate it, for sure.
Yeah.
I know, my county and the community, that's for sure.
You guys got any questions, comments?
No, not related to this.
And I know you were in the room while Ashley was explaining.
Yeah, it was good to hear that. So you can submit the invoice and then you'll send the money to my county and then we send it to the contract.
Yes, yeah. Now, the only one, your essential worker one, I'm probably gonna need your payroll records
Yeah,
For
that's
that.
a little bit more.
because there's certain buckets, like the VoIP system and the other I can probably put under like public health and safety because that, but there is an essential pay area that, like we had to, whenever we did that for the county, we have all the payroll records, for how that was broken out. Because there's limits of what people are allowed to have. I mean, per the type of jobs and the state average and everything. I can't be
Plus,
less
my
than
county will be paying like the fringe side of that money too, because since it's federal money, we got to show
Yeah,
all the other parts how that moves.
Yeah.
So we've probably got an additional 8,000 we spend.
Yeah.
Something in that ballpark.
yeah,
So we'll get all that.
yeah, because I gotta show it all, everything that was paid properly
Yeah.
and in full. We had the same thing. We had to pay our IMRF.
Yeah, all that good
That
stuff.
type of stuff.
Yeah. And we've been working with our CPA to get this
Okay.
thing down too,
Okay.
so we
Okay.
got everything correct for you.
So actually, other than essential pay, and stuff that they're gonna do in-house, he will need to get you some waivers. We need to be checking waivers for.
We would need the same thing, like whoever you have got for the VoIP system, make sure that, whenever you pay them, that they give you a lane waiver for
Paid full.
paid
Yeah.
full, and all the installation labor and materials are all, covered and done, so. that would be the main
Were you
thing.
doing windows also?
Mhm.
Okay, so whoever that contractor is, were you putting a water heater in too?
Mhm.
Okay, so whoever those contractors are, they can issue the waiver once they've been paid.
Okay.
And that just helps his paper trail.
Yeah, finalize that.
Yeah. So any of that paperwork you can give us, that would be appreciated.
Okay. Yeah, well, for our records too, we got it.
We gotta account for every penny. Yes, I have to account for every penny, because we don't want anybody to have to pay anything back.
I think the signature page is on the last page.
On the last page.
I think you signed it.
What was the-
Yeah.
What's the, their
Yeah.
award?
What was their final
It's
award?
on that page right
It
there.
is.
I don't know.
$191,650.
Okay.
Yeah.
So are you guys gonna have enough other funds coming in that you're gonna have to do a single audit?
Yeah,
This year, Gotcha, okay. Okay.
I think we covered that. in-
I figured, but I mean, and with, I was like, I'm sure there's other grants that, with that added into the total, get you past that threshold.
They probably have to do it every year.
I just thought I'd ask, because I think there is a spot in
You
it.
pay it, it
Yeah,
gets in your pocketbook.
it does, it
It
does,
does,
yeah.
yeah. That's pretty expensive.
Yeah. Nice to get away with it.
Great. I like Greg better.
All right, you guys got any other questions?
I'm gonna give you a copy.
Okay.
We'll get you a copy. Appreciate it. Look forward to a successful project.
Amen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Jim, how you liking it?
I'm learning.
Learning?
Yeah, I can't tell you how I like it yet. I'm just learning.
Best job you've ever had.
Nobody's bothering you on the weather, I guess, if you're right or wrong.
Oh, that still comes around. It's a little easier to deflect now.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a challenge.
Nick lives right across the street from me. And when I see him out and we talk, I never talk weather with him. He's got to have a nut
Yeah,
in that.
appreciates that.
When we talk about how people
The
look girls.
board meeting for Pike County, when do you have the board meeting?
Our next one's in February, every 3 months, 4 times a year. And our next one's in February.
February, do you have a date?
Oh, I can email it to you.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
it's-
I can email you the schedule for the year.
Yeah, that'd be
Yeah.
great.
We're gonna have updated committee assignments for this board.
Okay, yeah, I was wondering who would be.
Maybe
So
if
there's-
it's someone else, one of us.
One of us will be here,
Okay.
county representative.
And how does that work? Because Brett's thing went to like June, our approval out there, does it? Will it take effect after June or will it be before June?
Yeah, that will be as of our meeting.
Yeah.
Okay, that's how it works, okay.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure about
Statutorily,
that.
we checked with Red, statutorily, I think it has to have a county representative.
Yeah, it
on it,
does.
So that's.
Yeah, yeah, because Dallas is the layperson for the county, Dallas duty.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's good.
Yeah. I've never done so.
So you know, him, yeah.
I know.
He's a good guy.
He is a good
Yeah.
guy. I know his brother too.
Okay.
So we'll do those committee assignments. It's on the agenda for Tuesday.
Okay.
Every monthly meeting. And then we'll notify you who that person is.
Okay. Want me to email all three of you?
If you would, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Jim, is your email on the
It's on the website.
website now? Okay.
Get his photo on there too.
All right.
Appreciate it.
You guys, anything, just offer.
Sure.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Gabriel? Gabriel. Oh, I thought Hirsch was gonna get that money.
Yeah.
The best for last.
We only have a little bit left, and, you know, I don't know if hers will get theirs or.
Run out. So let's make sure. Okay, Steve, here you go.
Thank you.
That's yours. The signing pages in the back.
That's very end of it, not sign it. We'll make a copy of it.
Let me take a copy of that. Steve, what will we done for you guys again?
We're getting a sewer lift station for the center of town. This money came just at the opportune time.
Yeah.
It was going out, and then we didn't get it replaced here. We have to get a rim tape pump to pull it out until we get the money together.
50,000 or something like that.
Yeah.
Outrageous.
How much a day?
I think it was 50.
Oh, it was a bunch. Yeah, it was a whole bunch of money.
You know, it's,
And you know, we had to do that with White Ash.
We have.
You
yeah,
know, the biggest problem we had with that? We didn't steal the diesel. It's steal the
Oh.
fuel. The pump. The pump doesn't work.
Yeah, why is it overflowing and all the pump's not working? Why is it not working? It's out of fuel.
Somebody stole the fuel.
$5 a gallon, I guess it's worth money now.
I suppose, yeah.
Things.
So once again, you're working with Rodney, right?
Yes.
Okay, so Rodney's very familiar with how we're doing this
Oh,
process. So he'll know how and what to do and give to Ashley to get you paid.
Okay.
Do you have any idea when you'll start your project?
We've already had the engineering guys out there marking it, getting their plan together.
Excellent. Ashley, you got anything?
No, I talked to Rodney about Cargill, Cambridge, and Cranbrook already, so we're on the same page and, you know, what process we need to do. So-
That's the benefit of that.
Yeah, that's why I was, I mean,
Same
I,
engineers. do
Yes,
this.
that's right.
Yeah. Jim, you got anything?
All
Jim?
right. Well, thank you very much.
Thank
Once
you.
again, we look for a successful project.
Oh, yes. Thank you.
The person said hi.
All right.
All right, Hurst. There you go,
185,000
$185,000
on the last page.
on the last page. Amazing.
You made the
how
copy
many
for him,
units
didn't you?
that Brett works for. She's everywhere.
Yeah.
You signed this agreement here, this is my first reading.
Oh, okay. So that basically covers the things that we talked about during the grant application. When you guys came in to the application. And it spells out how the money is supposed to be used according to your application. And
Well, I was gonna say, before you sign it, have you had your attorney look at it?
No.
Okay,
Not that I'm aware of.
okay. If you're more than welcome to wait and let your attorney look at it first, if he has any questions. And then we can just come back in and sign it real quick.
I'm understanding our project here, we're gonna have problems getting the materials to get this thing put in. So if it's all right, I'd like to go ahead and get this signed so we can get the stuff ordered. 'Cause I'm hearing maybe 6 months before we can get the stuff in. But we've already talked to them, and they're, you know what they tell you when they're trying to sell you something, you're gonna be here tomorrow. So,
Yeah.
that's the only thing I'm concerned about.
What was your project again?
We're gonna have a digital water meters.
Oh, okay.
The city manager was supposed to be here, and I don't know what's happened to him. He told me that it's supposed to be 10:45. And I talked to Jim here, and he said 10, and I don't know, but anyway, that's what it's gonna boil down to. We're gonna be able to read the water meters, and it's gonna be a big lift for Hearst.
Yeah.
Right now, it takes 2 guys 2 days to read the meters. So that's gonna free up 4 days for our maintenance people or whatever. That's a load, we don't have many people.
Yeah,
It's gonna be great. Be absolutely.
that's terrific.
And I've been on the other side a lot. They're gonna appreciate it too, if it's 0 and snowing and blowing and freezing, that they're not gonna have to take water.
Absolutely.
Well, this is the same contract everybody signs. It's no different. Basically, like we've said to the others, if you heard us, project has to be completed by 2026, or the money has to be paid back. So
I don't think we'll have a problem with this, but who's your engineer, by the way?
We didn't go through an engineer, we just called out to like 2 bids, 2 reputable contractors, and I think one of them is doing the work up at Mount Vernon. And Ted called and talked to those people, and they was really satisfied with it. So that's who we went.
Okay. So like we said with, who was the? Coal Valley. Yeah. As they progress in the work, they'll give you an invoice. You get an invoice to Ashley, and they'll write you a check for that invoice. And of course, you'll have to collect waivers of lien from them after they're paid. And you'll do that, I guess, you're doing it once a month, right?
Well, I mean, I'm trying to work with each group. I mean, most of them have been monthly, but
Yeah.
I mean, depending upon the progress of the project and how quick they can get it done, we can get, whatever they need to.
I was gonna write the check.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yeah,
it is.
I'll write a check. I mean, I'll write a check to the village of Hearst, then you, I mean, there's not a water department, is there? There's not a Hearst water, is there a Hearst water department? Okay, so if that's who it's going through, I'll write it to that entity, and then they will, then in turn write it to the, to the contractor and get that to them.
Yeah. It's over with, huh? That's, yeah. I thought it was 10:45.
10 o'clock.
Oh.
Well, I scheduled you at 10:45. Meeting started at 10:10, but that's what time you guys were scheduled.
This is the most efficient part of your government has been this meeting today.
Are we signed and?
So he's signed and, yeah.
And we can go ahead and start ordering these parts?
Absolutely, yes.
Well, they've already kind of started on it, so
That's
I
why
think we've got an installation of the hardware coming on the well for 13%.
Excellent. Well, what we were just saying is.
So this month or January?
This month.
Okay.
As work progresses and as you guys get bills, turn the invoice in to Ashley, and we'll get you reimbursed for those costs.
that is it, that's all the information.
Well, he sends me stuff all the time.
You're
Actually, I'm
Yes, sir.
right from Magic.
Nice to meet you.
I'm Ted Swan.
Nice to meet you.
Send you a letter twice a year.
I'm getting all kinds of stuff.
Usually they get disbursements 3 times a year. So,
Yeah.
Everybody likes to get letters from me on that. Really.
Yeah, those are good ones.
Notice of your direct deposit came in. Yeah.
So you don't have a name tag?
No,
It was stolen.
What's
I haven't earned it. I haven't done anything to earn it yet.
Number one rule, I heard, those are, I'm gonna ask you about the weather.
That's not
Not anymore.
163,809.
$163,809.
Is that what that is, 163?
I'm reading.
I thought it was 185.
I like your figure better, but I'm just, as I said, just.
Well, I've got you down.
Did you have that?
I wasn't in that meeting. I had,
Oh, okay.
that was, you guys might have think during one of my installments.
All right. No, it is 163, 809.
I think the 185
Well, there
was
was-
the original estimate,
Two numbers, yeah, you guys did two estimates.
and we got a lower bid. And that's the one we chose. One was a Sonic, the other was a standard. Style.
We bought a lot of water meters.
I bet.
Oh my gosh, yeah, usually 300 or 400 at a time. How many do we have for you guys, do you know? It's not that many, I don't think, was it?
There's somewhere between 375 and 400.
Wow.
But we have 3 housing projects done.
I still like your number. We'll live with it.
Well, that's why that was the original number that, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I remember you guys had two numbers on that.
Well, I wanted to get the application in as quick as I could. and-
Yeah, because we were running out of money.
Yeah, we need to give you money.
Yeah,
I don't want to lose.
don't want to see it someplace
Or
else.
I get a chunk of the pie.
Yeah,
Talking about that. Are we out of money? That's what, is it spent or?
Not yet.
well, not quite out of money. What, have you got another project?
Well, our fire department's doing it.
That was $40,000, wasn't
That
it?
sounds about right.
Yeah, for the air equipment.
Yeah.
Did you fill out another application?
They filled out
They,
one.
Tommy filled one out, I believe it.
Also, we've got an application in here for this figure. This figure was at the same time that this was.
I don't know, because I didn't fill it out, so I don't know. They filled this out.
Yeah, that's. We dropped the ball, somebody dropped the ball because they didn't follow up with these two. That was the reason I was asking if, I'll find out this afternoon, when we'll be out here, if it's still okay to do this, because the application's been in about the same time as what you said.
The fire department was a little bit after us,
Yeah.
and I'm not sure about David.
We just kind of, bring you up to date, we've got other applications from other entities as well. We just thought we would, stop right now and regroup and see, take a look at what we have and the direction the board wants to go. So we've not made a decision on anything else right now, other than the water, sewer, and we're pretty well covered, pretty much the whole county.
We've gone east, west, north, and south. I will say this, maybe there's an opportunity that the sheriff's department's will be getting some new cars in the next year. Maybe one of those might become available.
Somebody had said something the other night, at the board meeting or something, that they had spoken to Mr. Dietrich
About a car?
about some cars or grants or, I don't know what it was exactly. Don't know what any of that is.
Yeah, I think the sheriff's department did get, they get 3 from Harrison Bruce.
I think they did.
They got 3 from Harrison Bruce Foundation last year. So that may be an avenue also.
I might have to reach out to the sheriff.
Is our other original applications to still with you all for the?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
certainly.
we don't, there's no time limit on them or anything.
No.
So we've just taken a pause right now before we go any further.
We have
with what we have.
We have until December 2024 to spend, to allocate that money to projects. So there is time. We've just taken a break from what we were.
Plus, we have a new board member as well, so we might need his
Play
input.
catch up, don't you?
So I do. Yeah, so we thought we'd just give him time to give us.
Anything else?
We are good. Gentlemen, you got anything else?
No.
Ashley, you got anything else? No. Have you got anything for us?
I got something for Jim. Did you ever get in touch with the program on aging?
Yes, yeah.
Were they able to help you out any?
I don't think it's going to apply our needs, but I do appreciate the offer to get in contact.
I just want to make sure that
Yes,
she called me.
yeah. So appreciate it. Thank you.
Thanks, fellas. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Nice thing.
Uh-huh.
Good to meet you, Jim.
Nice meeting
Must be way over here out there.
I see you all the time.
Yeah, I heard.
Franklin County and Ball from Jackson County, we're right on the corner, so.
Now, do you have any, meters like in other counties, actually?
No.
That's in your water district?
Well-
Because they also got money too.
Well, we only have about 6 meters,
Okay.
6, residential
Yeah,
meters.
I know some cross.
They're just
different
right across
county lines.
there's a little airport out by us
Yeah.
that we serve.
So down in New Burnside, they go over to,
The only thing.
Johnson
we
County.
do is if we
Yeah.
have
Southern
some
Saline.
airport.
And so we,
Some of the water districts that have-
so we identified those meters, we gave them money for those meters.
But we've got about 5 or 6 just residential meters that cross into Jackson County.
But once again, it's helping your district,
Yes,
so that's what we're doing.
But, that's part of the 370.
But even with everything else too, like the fire and police, if your boundaries go into another county, you can approach the other county for it, maybe some help.
Yeah.
If.
Well,
you
we-
have authority in there.
We have MABUS agreements with many.
Yeah.
So we do go everywhere.
Yeah.
I don't know if that would
Well, I
apply.
mean, you're like your city, boundaries, you know.
Well, just, there's those 5 or 6
Yeah.
people that, go out.
Yeah.
Go out.
Gentlemen, thank you for coming in.
Thanks a lot for
Thank
coming
you.
in, really appreciate it.
Jim, Tim, and Jim, huh?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Sounds like a comedy team or something.
and we need to go on the road,
Like the Smothers Brothers or something.
absolutely.
All right, thanks for
Thank you.
it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Ashley's got some stuff.
Okay, and, before we close out, I'd like to, Josh did always wanted to know if, you could address the board on a particular question that he had. I didn't know if we wanted to give him a call while we're here, or, I told him, I said, well, why don't you call, I told him to call us on, Tuesday, or we would call him Tuesday after, during our regular board meeting, after we took care of everything. But if we're here, if he's available, would you guys be okay for that to give him a call?
We can't act, he's not on the agenda.
No,
We can
that's
talk.
just, that's it, yeah. Right. He had some questions concerning, what the requests are from, Megan. And he wants to address, I guess, basically get our okay and make us aware of, transition, what they're gonna have to go through, so. And I'll let him explain, so, okay.
So got, a couple more ARPA requests. Spillertown, with their lift station project has started. This is Ryan Farley's, initial invoice for his engineering work of $18,000. Got, Terry Thien's submission for Bart Basie, who's the public defender for her side of the judicial backlog. We're paying him every 2 weeks, and that's 5/11/56. Then Heron House of Hope has submitted their November receipts for reimbursement for their purchase at Sam's Club and Performance Food Service for the meal program that they have for the area of Heron, $3,057.61 for that one.
Is that his first submission?
That's his second one. I actually just did one for you, whatever, and yesterday, yes, last meeting. But that was 7,000-ish. Now this one's for 3, so we're about 10,000 into their request. And then I've got, this is from standalone, First Circuit Probation. We have our breakdowns, so I wanted to go ahead and get your signatures on those so we can get those processed. Those are just to bring up, Mr. Razor, that we pay the First Circuit Probation monthly for the portion of Williamson County and the 9th Circuit Division. Each county pays a portion, then plus we we actually handle all their administrative function and do all the payroll and everything for them as well. As the largest county surgeon, that's our requirement. And then they, I guess for budget, you probably heard that, for budget purposes, they now pay us $30,000 as a fee for that. And these pertain to Commissioner Marlowe and Atkinson. I need you guys to sign these COEs so we can get it processed. Tax sales tomorrow, so we need to get everything done and finished by 4 o'clock today, so we can.
Were these the ones that just?
Those are the ones that were in your basket. I just went ahead and grabbed them.
So did you find the ones that you?
They're still searching. There's 2 outstanding ones that nobody can seem to find. Alex is trying to either find the originals or to recreate those so they can be done. I mean, here by 4 as well. So.
And that's, you're gonna set up today?
Yeah, I mean, we'll be setting up this afternoon. We'll take the entire room. We'll make a rectangle in here. All the materials will be in the middle. We'll all set up here, set up for the viewing for the monitor for us on there. Everybody will have their own screen. The guys from Joe Meyer are going to be coming in sometime this afternoon to put the terminals together and everything. I think we have 23 tax firms.
What time do you start?
We'll start at 9 o'clock. They'll get here around 8. They come in, they register downstairs with Pam to get everything and get that stuff, give the checks and everything to carry. And then they'll come in and pick out their spot where they want to be. And then at 9 o'clock, we'll start. I'll do an intro with everything, tell them what's going on, what the process is. I think we have a few new ones, so they may have to get some direction from Travis and Robbie from Joe Meyer's office just to show them how to use the terminals. And then they'll start, I mean, basically it's 8 seconds. And I've got probably
Quite an event.
6, well, as of last Friday, I had 1,800 plus parcels that were going to be going. I figure we'll probably have just 1,600 plus, and we'll take maybe a 15-minute break-ish in between, but it'll run basically from 9 o'clock until probably 1 or 1:30. Just, I mean, boom, 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 boom. We do have a mobile home sale, no order bids on those, so those just, we bump it up to everything 3 seconds and just turns through those and we're done. But it's fast and furious. It's a pretty neat thing. You'll see, I mean, if you want to pop in here and look on the screen, you'll see the amounts and the owners and everything, parcel numbers and all that. So it's quite a unique thing to watch. So.
Yeah, it's really neat. It's quiet. It's like a library.
Yeah, all you hear is,
Yeah.
because I mean, it's sometimes it's the fastest person on the draw, because these are going 0%, a lot of the nicer ones. And so here,
The computer determines who the winner was in microseconds.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
and then you'll see ones every once in a while, they'll start at, well, now it'll be 9, but 9, then 8, and 6, then 5, and 4, and whatever it'll end up in that 8 seconds, maybe 0, maybe 2. So, yeah.
Every time you push a bid, I think it pushes the time bar back a second.
Yeah.
Is that what it does?
Well, no, I mean, it's 8 seconds overall, so I mean, you gotta.
Well, I've seen where it would push the time bar. I guess they can do it either way.
Yeah. We try to, keep it as uniform as possible, because these guys are serious. This is big money. They write big dollar checks at the end.
But I have seen people, if they need one parcel, they ask at the beginning.
That's no longer allowed.
Oh, really?
You gotta wait the day, don't you?
You got to register and go just like everybody else. I checked on that. I talked to all of my peers, and very few, if any, ever did that. And that's something I did change. Just to make it uniform and to allow for it to be fair across the board, because usually those are nice properties. I had one first started, I think it was 6 or 8 acres. They all wanted to bid on it. This person, lived right next to past practice, but it's like they all threw a fit because they're like, we would have done that too. So, last year I had a couple of individuals, they signed up and had 3 parcels that they wanted to buy, and that alone, but they didn't get any of them because they weren't fast enough to do it. But I made it where it's a fair process across the board.
Yeah.
So. That's it. I mean, unless have you talked with her, do you confer about the budget issue with the circuit clerk's office? Have you?
I didn't.
Okay, okay.
And he said he had a conversation with you, he's gonna pick up some of those costs.
Well, he said he would pay something, but I figured you guys were gonna, I mean, either talk with him or make a negotiation of what you were willing to pay, and I told him that there was a little bit of money in his operation, I didn't know if he was using it or not, so you could possibly move that, over to offset the amount.
I'll give him another call back to specifically.
Okay. And I can get exact numbers if you need me to, I have.
Because I just was off the cuff on.
Okay. I mean,
So he knows it's coming.
I can work those up and get those to you, and I can try to ask him of any of those, because there's about $2,600, I think, in operational. If he wasn't going to use that, then I can request that to be moved up there, and then that would lower the total amount that he would be responsible for. I'll get the exact number, for what would come from contingency for the circuit clerk.
I've got some
Employee.
claims on my desk that they were holding
Okay,
for operational, so that 2,600 may be accounted for on my desk.
okay. So, yeah, we may need to start working backwards on that. Put a spreadsheet together, so I can do that. Okay, thank you.
All right. Can we take a 5-minute break?
Yes, let's take a 5-minute call, please.
Just a pause.
Yeah, pause that, pause this.
Only this morning, I haven't had time to return the call.
So I would, I want to proceed with the best interest and transparency across the board as possible. So that's why I want to make sure we're communicating all the way. You guys see everything in writing as much as possible. I just don't want there to be any onus on either party for there to be any problems.
Yeah. So I would suggest that when you send that email to him, that you send carbon copies to the rest of us. Keep us informed. That way we see what you're asking, and we see what he replies, and we see what he's asking, and we see your reply.
Yep, I will do just that. And then we're trying to get someone scheduled. They requested a walkthrough for this Friday. I think we should be able to accommodate that. And then I'm just gonna tell them again that we just need a technical scope of work or an implementation overview for them to let us know what type of provisions they need made on the network so that we can go ahead. So, but your network, the switch change out I'm recommending is ideal, but we can get by without it if they provide power supply. So I'll just wait for your pending decision on your next board meeting for if you want to upgrade the switches or not. Current switches are a bit aged, so there's some other good reasoning to do that, but we can discuss that in another conversation.
Okay, that sounds good, Josh.
Is there anything else that you guys have concerns about or this on this project going forward that I need to be aware of or that we need to be ready to accommodate?
I don't think we have anything other than the email that Mayor sent requesting those things. So that's all we have.
Okay, well, I appreciate you guys making time and then just let me know what you decide on the switches and I'll get somebody to install them as soon as possible if you guys end up approving those.
Okay, sounds good.
Sounds good. Thanks, John.
All
Thanks, Josh.
Have a good day.
Bye-bye.
You too. So he'll put his requests in an email to Mayor. So we should be able to see that. Figure out whether or not we actually need the switches. I don't know if Mayor had planned on putting the switches in. I have no idea.
We're supposed to meet them on Monday
On Tuesday.
or Tuesday.
Tuesday. In the afternoon.
Sorry.
So,
Just a little update. The way I've calculated, I know Jim, you wanted to break down, I don't know if you got it yet, but I was working on this to give you a better indication of what we had left in ARPA. Without anything coming back, without the overage, or, projects coming in under budget and stuff, it looks like on paper, we have currently 318,287 left.
and that includes the $1 million carve out for.
Correct, that's, yeah, we've got that set aside. Yeah, that's already been taken out.
Right.
Like I said, out of that $1 million, it looks like we may have quite a bit of that left over. We can still use for county business or whatever we need, it's still ours to determine how we want to use it. And I would think it's at least $550,000 right there. Plus the money coming back from projects, like I said, that
Right.
budget.
Well, we don't know. It sounds like White Ash may come in
White Ash.
significantly under budget. And
And
then
students talk about the water tower.
water tower's gonna have maybe almost $100,000 coming back.
So we may still have those closer to $1 million left.
And we still do have, and I don't, and I'm just throwing this out there, I don't really have a thought either way right now, but we do have that request from Williams County Fire Department for a new fire truck that's out there. I think that was $750,000 that they were looking at.
So we can put the requests on hold for right now, because they don't expire, but it already. So then we can, whenever everybody's ready.
We need to catch our breath. Let's catch our breath on our.
We do, the one project that came up during the past year while I was here, that does strike a note with me is the voting machines.
Yeah.
I've talked with enough folks that I do think it'll qualify. If it doesn't, I think we're still okay to go ahead and make up in the end, whatever that might be. I would hate to see us drag our feet on that project where it becomes an issue of timing.
Right.
So I just want to put that out there, that it is one that concerns me. And while there's still that amount of money available or close to that, just want to keep it in flow.
I agree.
And that's an excellent point. And that was
Absolutely.
one of the things I had said initially.
I know Amanda wasn't going to make any changes until after the April.
Until after the April election. So the next election would be the primary. No, the primary. Right, the general primary in March of 2022. 24. This is 22. March March of 24.
That's going to be a big year.
And she had said that she needed, they would need some time.
We want to be prepared for it. But we would give her the time to make sure the machines are, they're accurate, functioning properly, tested. They do a great job testing machines and retesting and calibrating.
Well, I think we should really look at making sure that we have accurate machines, giving accurate results.
Absolutely. And the voter would expect.
In the past, I don't know if you'd heard before, but when we brought this up initially, there was times in the past whenever there was grant money available for them to get that. I think that was, at the time, that was the initial, not pushback, but the initial concern was, let's don't give them ARPA money today because
See if
they might
something
have
comes up.
some grant money coming up.
We'll still pursue that.
Well,
I think it's my understanding that we're either going to do it now or we're going to do it very soon.
Yeah.
The machines are getting a little aged. And,
It's time.
Yeah, I think it's a good time to keep that moving, sometime next year.
We'll work with.
And I think Amanda was working on.
She's ready.
Right.
And then,
As a matter of fact, I think she actually kind of, I don't want to say she slowed us down on that, but I think she wanted time to see what she was going to have on that. So that's, that's at the top of my list. It's definitely at the top of mine. But I think we've been really fair with the money that we've sent out to all these different places.
touched a lot of people.
Yeah.
Well, I'll just say I was a spectator for all of it. So I watched the board and to put my 2 cents in there, just so it's on the record, I was impressed with the number of communities that were touched. A lot of it was dirty, ugly, boring stuff that nobody sees other than when you're tearing up the dirt. Because it was a lot of water lines and water meters and sewer and such. But I thought the board did an excellent job of spreading that money out and really covering the entire county. We might have all wanted to see some prettier projects come out of this. But overall, I was happy, maybe even to the point of being impressed at times with some of the good that was done with that money. So the last little bit we've got, let's get the most bang out of that we can. But I think you guys and Brent as well involved with that. I thought you all did a good job of getting that money out there where it needed to go.
Appreciate that. I'd also like to thank someone who worked behind the scenes in arranging this ARPA money. And it was Tom Miller. Tom worked behind the scenes with the senators and representatives, and was very instrumental in getting that money to be spread out at a local level. And Tom was very adamant in describing that. Nobody knows how better to use this money than the local governments at our levels. The needs that we have. We deal with these people on a daily basis, it seems like. So I do want to thank Tom for his input in seeing that this ARPA money did come through, the whole idea. I want to give him the kudos on this as well. So I think we had followed through with what Jim was explaining. It touched a lot of communities and lives.
And I think he had a lot to do with that 768,000 that we initially got. Remember that? He was big on that.
So it just doesn't happen on its own. So.
Well, Mr. Treasurer, you're back for a second. What can we do for you?
I forgot to ask. So we're processing payroll. There's been a discussion, which you haven't been involved with, Mr. Razor, as of yet, in regards to offices that are paying out special funds and whether to reimburse in addition to court security. I need to know what offices are paying, what, or reimbursing what.
Who's reimbursing those
Yes.
benefits?
So, I can label, I can give you the office, and then you can tell me gross pay, plus benefits, gross pay only, combination of their, of those, but I need to know that like right now.
Right now, yeah.
So we can, because we're processing payroll, so as we do this, we have to generate the claims, in that final step. So
So the one I'm pretty confirmed on was circuit clerk was picking up for his people in automation, right? So the assessors on is that the way you had it? You remember the circuit clerk was picking up theirs,
So
their total cost?
the conversation that
Yeah, I think,
I was had, or that I was privy to, was under that now treasurer, county clerk, and circuit clerk were all just paying gross wage reimbursement only
Not benefits.
and not benefits. There had been no,
the benefits are coming out of the benefit fund.
the benefits are coming out of the levy funds, your IMRF fund, the insurance, the things that are already levied,
Right.
and everything else. In the past, you're basically making those offices that had those excess funds in there, special funds, they were reimbursing, just like what the highway department does, reimbursing 100% full to build up the, the balance of those funds. But I think you had a conversation where the circuit clerk had requested of you to only drop back to gross wage reimbursement only for this year.
I'd have to get my budget look out to look at that to see.
Yeah, I don't want to misspeak on that either.
Yeah.
So I think we can get you that information
I really thought that we had
because
talked about
it's in
that,
our notes budget.
that circuit clerk was gonna pick his.
I believe so,
I
but
could
we
be
can
wrong.
give him a call right now.
We can.
One and two, we'll get with you, right, because I'll get right on this.
Okay. And then the other one was court security. In the past, court security has reimbursed at 100% of all, I want it here, so you can hear this too. Has reimbursed at 100% gross wages plus all benefits. That thing has a death date, we're eating into that significantly. So my recommendation was just to only pay the gross wages out of court security to be able to keep that fund in
That
a
was one of the
more
funds
positive
that we were
manner,
going
but that
to
was,
address by
Your
modifying the
yes.
fine and fee structure
Yeah.
to redirect where that goes. So that helps supplement.
Yeah.
So
I
we
mean-
haven't done that yet, but that's one of the, set up a meeting with Kim. Sure. Maybe probably this month. I'd say probably within a week or so.
well, I mean, we can change, we can change it. You would
I
prefer to.
mean, it's not gonna die
Yeah,
right now,
but-
right? with this
No,
rate?
no,
Okay.
but I mean, I guess my recommendation would be on the court security is that you only pay gross wages. Now, we can always
Well,
pull it out, or I can do a separate invoice for whatever the extra amounts are later. But I mean, that's that's a few $1,000s, I think, every payroll that's going into all of those other and eating out of that court security trust accounts.
Yeah.
So a couple $1,000s over the course, I mean, you're talking, 20 grand. So,
Yeah.
I mean, that's a significant amount of money in that account to be just pulling and putting into already levied items whenever we're trying to keep it afloat.
Right.
So, I mean, my recommendation would be to make it gross wages only for court security. I mean, obviously, you're leaving the treasurer and the county clerk as carrying over the same, but we need to know, are you gonna have the circuit clerk pay in full or only gross wages, and then the same way with the assessor's office? I don't know if you ever had that conversation with Alex. I mean, I know I gave you all the balances and what that fund is generating, on the GIS fund is generating on an annual basis, which I mean is a pretty hefty amount, but on both ends, but I don't know if you ever really had a conversation about it. And she didn't know, I mean, really,
okay.
honestly,
Can we
my
can we do this right after the meeting?
yeah,
And
I mean, if you can get an answer within like an
Yeah.
hour or two, that
So-
would be fantastic.
Well, Kim's available for a call. You want
Okay,
to- right?
let's just get her on then.
Right, so let's give her a call.
Yes, yeah, those are, yeah.
What you guys have up here?
Good morning, Kim. We're in a meeting right now, and we had a couple of budget questions for you that you might be able to help us with, since you have the numbers in front of you. Ashley's here, and he had a question about court security and other employee benefits that we're going to be paid out of.
be able to tell you at least how you planned, and then if you need to change some things, we can talk about that too.
Okay.
Okay?
So I'm gonna let Ashley ask you the questions.
All right.
Kim, Marla's here with me because we're processing payroll, so she's, you know, obviously trying to generate the claims to go along with the payroll. We have assessor's office, county clerk, treasurer, circuit clerk, and court security. I'm not going to include highway because we know that one's staying as is. Those particular offices or funds, in court security's case, are reimbursing. My understanding was the county clerk and the treasurer's office are going to remain the same, where they're just reimbursing gross payroll only, as they were last year. There was a conversation. Are you just looking at the whole budget, or do you want me to give you the department? Okay, so circuit clerk's office, I know there was discussion about him requesting to only reimburse gross wages only because of the drain that his funds were having, based off of the full reimbursement of all costs for the employees that were off the gen fund ledger. Was there a decision made as to what that office was going to be responsible for?
My understanding of the conversation was that the board had approved Justin only reimbursing wages. That was the motion, that's what you
Okay.
and the county clerk.
Okay. And then in regards to Alex's office, the assessor's office, was there any discussion or final decision on if he was going to continue to pay all benefits and wages, or was he just paying?
Well, my notes have that Herb was still going to be reimbursing salaries and benefits
Okay.
because despite, maybe that's not the right word, but even with paying salaries and fringes, the assessor's mapping fund was still growing.
Mhm.
It didn't have the decline in principal balance like, the county clerk was experiencing, like we were experiencing, and like Justin was experiencing.
Okay. Last one would then be court security. I know there's discussion of the board that they're going to probably readdress this mostly through the fine and fee schedule, but that hasn't been done as of yet. That continues to decrease. I mean, in the interim, my suggestion is that fund only reimburse gross wages, just to keep it propped up as much as possible. But I don't know if there was really any other discussion outside of that.
Kim, I said that, I addressed the board that we had discussed this a little bit, that we were going to have a meeting sometime this month to address that. We just hadn't set that up.
And it's fine.
There were some other items that we needed to address, yeah.
We'll just have gone through 3 or 4 payrolls by the time we make a decision.
Was reimburse wages because of the financial condition that core security was in. Continuing to put it in a negative spending pattern, we'll get it to a point where it's very hard to dig out of that. And not only that, to only reimburse wages, but to also do the cash infusion, the $50,000, to at least get it stabilized, to get the fund stabilized, to see, okay, we're stable at this, then we work on the fine and fee ordinance, and how can we get this fund where it's not going to go? Because it's going to go, and left alone like it is, it's going to be a negative 100,000 before you know it, and that's a very hard place to get out of.
So back up, do you want them to go ahead, there was a $50,000 transfer in the budget.
We transferred 50.
We haven't done that.
That was supposed to be.
The $50,000 transfer to court security?
That was in our budget discussions, wasn't it, Kim? I remember.
It was in last year's budget. So that's why, but I mean, we hadn't moved it, you hadn't done a claim.
2022.
As of yet. If that needs to be done, I mean, we need to prepare a claim as of 11/30 and get that done.
So that would need to be done. That was in last year's budget, right, Kim?
Right, that was in 22, but you also had a $50,000 transfer budget into 23.
For this year, yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
just because the fund was so, it is so unstable financially. If you want to do the 22 transfer now, which Stephanie and I were talking about going through the budget, I think she did the majority of the, what we call the traditional transfers. But I was going back through the budget and picking up any, what I call, new transfers, things that maybe weren't habitually done in past years. And so we were kind of communicating back and forth, and I needed to get back with her on some additional ones. But that one, you could go ahead and transfer the 50 and see where the fund's at. But like I said, in addition to that, I did recommend just reimbursing wages until that fund is financially stable, until there's a plan on paper that actually works out mathematically for that fund.
So you guys want to go ahead and do your 2022 transfer?
Let's do our 2022 transfer.
So is it coming from contingency to?
No, there's an actual line, there's an actual line item that says transfer to court security
Yeah.
in the commissioner's budget of $50,000.
Stephanie did that. and she
Okay.
said
I'll
that's
get
what
with you
it-
after the
Okay,
meeting.
okay, yeah, so we can get that done.
So let's do that, because when you said that, I thought we'd kind of taken care of that during budget. So-
Well, I mean, we talked about that, but then you
I was
circle
like, how
back to
could
the
it be out
fine
of budget
fees.
already?
Well, it's not out
Yeah.
yet, but I mean,
Right,
status, maintain the same,
exactly.
path of the ship, it's gonna hit the iceberg, so that's why.
Yeah, because we had a death date, I think, of this year.
Sorry, that's why I put it. But yeah, so we can do the 2022 transfer.
Let's do that. Yes.
So that's done for 22 and 23, right?
Well, 22,
No,
they'll have to decide 23. I think they're gonna decide if they're gonna change their fine and fees schedule, or if they need to still prop it up, or a portion thereof. But they at least wanna do the 22 now
Okay.
to get that.
If you remember, when we started talking about the fines and fees, there was a little bit of pushback because we weren't sure which
Right,
ones we could
right.
do. And I'm not sure that those answers have been found
Right.
yet. So,
Right.
we gotta deal with that. We need to
We
deal with
made a
that.
little bit more support.
Yeah.
Make sure you're comfortable. So soon you'll use your implementation date. So if you get through the information and you are comfortable with moving, let's say, something from one to another, and you're happy with that move, you'll want to say, okay, that'll be effective. If you're happy in February, maybe April 1st.
Yeah.
So there's an implementation time period for it. Those are just examples. I'm not.
So I think we should have enough money to make sure that they don't run out of money
Yes.
before that work is done.
Yes, so you've got 50 from 22, you've got another 50 to deploy in 23.
Yes.
Okay, so you will have more than enough to give you some ample time to figure out how you want the final fees ordinance to look.
And we know we need to stay on top of this.
We gotta stay on top of this.
I had a couple of other items
Right.
on this, like the changes to the reserve ordinance that you have, or resolution that you have. And some other things that I can send over to everybody in an email that once you got a minute to take your breath, we were gonna come back and start working on a few of these things.
Yes, send that over, Kim, if you would, please.
Sure.
Last thing, just for her to make sure and clarify, all stipends are being paid out by those special funds and all those respective offices, and any, what are you going to call it, extra pay that the offices have chosen to give their employees, or now.
That's definitely not coming out of general fund.
Okay, and
Right.
and even, I don't even know if I want to ask this question, because I don't want to make more work on you.
Are you really gonna ask about benefits on that dollar? Is that what you're?
I guess I was, but.
Oh, that's not a big deal.
That's,
It's not work for me because I'm doing it already.
okay.
So you answer that
So
question.
the stipends are going on the automation. They're
Let me double
reimbursing
check that.
stipends
Well,
out of
just a second, let's
automation.
let Kim get a double check on that.
Yeah.
And I guess the question is, are those stipends, I guess the stipends, I mean, any extra pay, are those?
The extra pay is
the same
special.
way respectively, or they, I can tell you that the stipends for both the man and my office we have just been reimbursing gross only and not benefits.
Because they're not doing benefits on anything.
Well,
But
the extra pay is not stipend, that's
Right.
not the same thing.
No.
Right.
So no, in my mind, you guys have an opinion, in my mind, whatever costs are associated with that comes out of that automation budget.
So in essence, you're talking
Even though it's pennies,
18 or 20 employees times.
you know, it's not much per employee, but it is in the year, you get a little bit of money.
Okay, so we're talking,
I mean,
the circuit
that's-
clerk's office is paying benefits, or they're not gonna pay benefits.
On that extra bit of money that he's giving.
I'm
them.
talking about on their general.
Their general
On
fund,
their general fund, are they gonna pay benefits or not?
no, they're paying gross only.
They're not gonna pay benefits, but they are gonna pay benefits on that dock storage line.
Yeah, right, on that.
Because that's $36,400 total.
Yeah. Yeah.
So then, I mean, we'll pay like
Now, back to the
25%.
stipends. Amanda has one stipend, the chief tax extension deputy stipend, that's still paid out of the general fund,
Right.
Yes,
okay? All the others are not.
You had one out of general fund, didn't you?
Ashley does.
I had two,
Oh, was it two? Okay.
but I'm paying them for the automation.
You're
Paying
paying.
those, yeah. And then Amanda's, I think is it her chief deputy stipend? Where Jessica is being paid out
She's
of
paying it out of vital
vital
records.
records.
Okay.
Yeah. So those are,
No, once again, general, our funds are picking
they're picking up
Benefits.
the
benefits.
Right. But those are all originally on the general fund that you pushed off.
Originally back, yeah, and we had put it back in, I think they come back on.
The sheriff's stipends are still in there.
But there's no reimbursement, you know.
Yeah, I'm not reimbursed.
Sheriff only is reimbursed
They got-
for security.
Yeah, that's for security.
Yeah, there's not a lot of money going on there.
Judges' offices are in the budget, I understand, I'm just being.
Yeah.
Totally different.
Just be thorough, yeah, we be thorough.
The assessor's office does have a board of review secretary stipend in the general fund, a deed clerk stipend in the general fund, and a chief field lister stipend in the general fund. The GIS stipends, the two for the GIS mapping coordinator and mapping assistant, are paid out of the GIS fund. So there's kind of part and part on the assessor's office.
Does that answer those questions?
Well, I mean, the stipends are included, I mean, there's no new stipends, is there? In that office?
What,
Is there an additional?
Or there was a question on your new stipends in 2023.
Yeah, well, I
in
mean,
which office, in circuit clerk?
possibly. There may be an additional.
Gosh, I don't know, there were a few stipends, we went through that.
There were three $7,000 ones. Yeah, I'm wondering, was there, or was that
There's
because,
four.
but was that one employee leaving? Or was it hired?
So
That's
the
fine.
one employee.
So there's an additional $7,000 stipend that's been added to an employee that was not
Paid
ever
on
remembered by the
automation.
pay on automation. And then you have a circuit clerk's office and you have a $1
Right.
everybody.
Right,
That's being
so
paid.
you're asking now about that one.
I guess I'm asking about the stipend in addition to the dollar. I mean, what?
The dollar's coming out of his funds.
Okay.
That, we have a contract, and
Okay.
he's paying above and beyond that contract.
So the entire dollar is 100% wages and benefits.
Right,
Okay.
nobody's sitting over here has agreed to do that.
Then what about the additional stipend that's been given?
That's a good question. Was it generated in this past year, in 2022?
No, I mean, it's for this.
For this year, 23?
There were three total stipends available to the circuit clerk's office. I mean,
21,000 in
$21,000 in
stipends.
stipends.
And now it's 20.
Now it appears there's 20.
Kim, do we add that?
No, that was not in the general fund.
No, it's off book. I mean,
It's all-
It used to be.
the 21 used to be there. So if you kept the same premise, like for mine that used to be, is now being paid out of automation, or Amanda's that used to be and is now paying out of automation, that we're still paying just gross wages on those. 21,000 used to be in the general fund, is now being paid out of automation, but then there's an additional 7,000 now that has been added and given.
But it's not in.
That was not in the budget and was never originally in the general fund. It's